Hi viewers, hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Finance with Monisade. Finance with Monisade is one of the best platforms on YouTube to actually learn about stock market, investment, and all that you can ever imagine about investment and wealth building and personal finance. And on today's video, I am going to be speaking on something that is very, very important, something that has been trending, something that has been that is almost on everybody's mind for the past few days and few weeks. You see, a lot of us are coming. A lot of people are now coming into the knowledge of what investment is, but we believe that investment is something that makes us very rich. It makes you wealthy, but that's not the case. You see, before you can talk about personal finance or wealth building, you have to talk about behavioral patterns that actually stops people from being wealthy, because wealth building is a conglomerate of many decisions that you make as an individual. It's a conglomerate of decisions that you make daily, and these daily decisions are actually pioneered, or they are engineered by your habits. Now, habits are one concept that people do not understand, and people feel that when you talk about wealth building, it actually has to do actually. But the reality of the fact is that when you talk about wealth building, it's not always about finance only. Wealth building also has to do with your mindset. You get, it has to do with how you think, how you reason, how you behave as an individual. And this behavior is what shapes your decision as an individual to now say, okay, I want to be better, or I want to be rich, or I want to be wealthy. So on today's video, I'm going to be focusing on areas that actually affect, or um that hinders us from building wealth like we ought to. And first thing on my list is your habits. Do you understand? Your habits. In as much as we want to talk about personal finance, you see, especially your personal finance is actually tied to your day-to-day habits. Sometimes your habits can be how you make your bed in the morning, how you behave at work, how you behave with people around you, all those behavioral patterns that you have inculcated over time. Those little decisions that you make every day are the ones that actually now come together to make one huge decision that affects your life and your destiny. Now, as somebody who has invested in the stock market for a long time, and somebody who has been building wealth since my teenage years, I come to understand that it's how you behave, it's what you have mastered over time. And how do you master, or how do you build good habits that actually helps your finance to be better? It starts from what you do every day. Now, as somebody who wants to build wealth, first of all, you need to look at your spending habits. What do you spend your money on? What do you buy? Do you buy things that are necessary, or do you buy things that are just general wants? Now you have to draw the line, because for you to actually be able to build wealth, it has to start from this place of decision. A lot of us are battling with what we call incalcitrant spending habits. These are spending habits that you have no control over. Like, you see a pair of shoe, you don't need it, but you just want to buy it, maybe to just feel good. Now, if you are always if you always spend money to make yourself feel good, my dear, you might be heading towards poverty, because many of the things that we buy normally are things that are not, in quotes, necessary. So you need to actually now sit down and decide, these things that I purchase, or these things that I buy every day, are they really necessary? So you have to put a peg on that first of all. Do you understand? You need to put a peg on that. So what I will do, or what I will advise you to do as somebody who wants to build wealth, is first of all, you need to get what we call a financial scheduler. Now, this financial scheduler, or a notepad if you would want, is where you put out, or you list the things that you think, or you deem fit as necessary, things that you deem fit as needful. For instance, your groceries, your transport, your data, things that you feel, okay, these things I cannot do without them. So When you have been able to solve that need, then you can now come back to say, okay, maybe these are the things that I really need. Let me focus on these things and leave, and then you get rid of the other stuff that are not needful for you at that point. The habits that actually affect or that stops people from building wealth is showing off. Now, from the research that I have conducted over time, I've realized that a lot of Nigerians, 80% of Nigerians are actually living in debt right now. I know that the economy is very bad, but do you know that there's a way you can actually still manage yourself to still have a minimal amount of money saved away? It doesn't even have to be hundreds of thousands. It can be 10,000, it can be 20,000, just a little money saved away. Do you know that? So a lot of times people spend money to show people that they have money. If you find yourself in a situation where you have to spend money to show people that you have money, I don't want to be a breaker of bad news, but I just want to let you know that you are heading towards poverty. So most of the time, you don't need to impress people to let them know that you have. As a matter of fact, if you have, please, you don't even let people don't even need to know that you have. So the best thing for you to do is always to let people know that you don't even have at all. Another thing that is another habit that puts them in a tight financial corner is helping everybody. Now, I know you're a Christian, maybe you're a good Muslim, and you feel, oh, the Bible says we should help people do this, do that. But you know, there's something people say that if a giver does not put a leash on his giving, the giver will end up becoming the beggar. So at some point, you need to put a peg on this and say, okay, this is the amount of money from my savings that I have stashed away to assist people. So the moment you get to that threshold, you should be able to say, I am done. I don't have this money to give maybe till next month or till another of my pay slip comes out. So you don't necessarily need to be breaking your back to help people at the expense of your own finance. Do you understand? So we don't really need to do that. So if you have been doing that before, please, I want you to have a rethink and stop doing this. The fourth category of people who struggle every day or who struggle financially are people who um maybe they always like to live an extravagant lifestyle which they cannot afford. So we see that a lot of Nigerians want to buy designers, they want to go to the expensive parties, they want to travel. You see, there's nothing wrong with putting a hold on some expenditures if you don't have them at that point. You understand? Maybe you want to travel to Abu Dhabi, you want to travel to Dubai for the long holidays, and you just realize that you don't have the money to actually finance that. You can actually take a quick detour and say, okay, instead of me going here, why don't I travel somewhere within my own locality to actually save cost? Because there's no point going all that out when you don't have the means to actually support yourself. Do you understand? So these people who live extravagantly at the expense of their finances, it's really, really disturbing because at the end of the day, they now end up going back to banks to take loans or they borrow money from friends, which is not actually good because by the time your paycheck comes in or by the time the little money you're expecting comes in, you're already owing a multitude of creditors. You are already a debtor to a lot of creditors. So we need to actually we need to be careful of how we spend money. So this short video that I have done today, I actually want you to ruminate on it. I want you to think about it because I'll be doing more videos on how you can actually live a balanced financial life as a Nigerian in the present Nigerian economy. And if you are here and you have not followed my YouTube channel, please, I want you to click on the subscribe button because I'll be showing you more videos of how to build wealth from nothing to something. I mean, we all started from there. I started my investment journey with just $1, and today I have investment in a lot of companies. So you can also be like that. It starts with consistency and discipline. So guys, thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.